Hi, my name is Chloe Wellington. This is me. And this is my persuasive speech. This is my audience. And I am going to start my speech now. Have you ever shared a happy photo on Instagram, smiling wide with a perfect caption, while deep down you felt completely alone? If you have, you're not the only one. In fact, many of us are living double lives. One is online, carefully curated, filtered, and cropped for likes. The other is offline, raw, messy, and filled with emotions we rarely share. Social media promised us connection, and at first, it delivered. It gave us instant access to friends, family, and even strangers across the world. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. What started as a tool to bring us together has slowly started pulling us apart. We like posts instead of listening. We react with emojis instead of empathy. We scroll endlessly while our real relationships quietly starve for attention. As someone who has grown up immersed in social media, I have witnessed both the benefits and the dark side. And I've come to the gut-wrenching conclusion that our relationships are changing and not for the better. By the end of my speech, I want my audience to understand that social media hasn't just altered our relationships. It has completely distorted them. Today, I will walk you through 3 main points this is happening. 1, how social media replaces real communication with shallow interactions. 2, how it encourages toxic comparison and damages our self-worth. And 3, how it causes emotional disconnection even from the people we care about the most. Let's start with how we communicate. According to a 2020 Pew Research Center study, 70% of teens prefer texting or messaging over face-to-face interaction. And it's not just teens. 60% of adults claim that they communicate through social media more than in person as well. Now, sure, texting is convenient, it's quick, it works across distances, but it comes at a cost. It removes the body language, the tone, the pauses, all those little things that help us understand each other emotionally. Social media thrives on quick exchanges, likes, one-line comments, story replies, but do they actually connect us? Let me ask you, how often do you send a quick love you or a how's your day been? But deep down, you're craving for a real conversation. Think about how many posts you've liked without ever reaching out to that person directly. It feels easy, but it also becomes an excuse, a shortcut around the real work a relationship requires. As a teenage girl, I'll be honest, my Instagram is full of comments like, OMG gorge, or you're so cute, and I do the same thing back. But after a while, these compliments feel empty. They're not conversations. They're not real connections, and they're just digital noise. MIT professor Cheryl Turkle, in her book Alone Together, says, "We are lonely, but fearful of intimacy. Digital connection may offer the illusion of companionship without the demands of friendship. We've replaced depth with speed, and it's leaving us emotionally malnourished." Next, let's talk about what social media does to our sense of self. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that limiting social media use significantly reduces depression and loneliness in young adults. And the NIH has found that the more time teens spend on social media, the more likely they are to feel anxious, depressed, or inadequate. Why? Because social media is built on comparison. You're constantly fed highlight reels of other people's lives, their best photos, their best vacations, their romantic relationships, and their successes. But you're comparing all of that to your unfiltered reality. Imagine this. You're scrolling and you see a friend on a dreamy vacation. They're smiling at the beach, laughing with friends, holding hands with their partner. You think, why can't my life be like that? Or what am I doing wrong? You start questioning your worth. But what we don't see is the fight they had with their partner the night before, or the credit card debt from that trip. We don't see their pain, only their presentation. I remember during my junior year of high school, I reached a breaking point. I felt like everyone was doing way better than me. I felt behind, and I felt like I wasn't enough. So I deleted Instagram, not just for a week, but for months. And in this time, I realized just how toxic that constant comparison had become. Dr. Jean Twenge, a psychologist who studies digital behavior, says, the more time we spend on social media, the more we feel we have to compete for approval, attention, and validation. Social media sells us a dream we can never reach. And it convinces us that we're failures for not having it. Finally, let's talk about what social media is doing to our closest relationships. A study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that couples who use social media excessively report lower relationship satisfaction and greater feelings of neglect. In fact, 36% of participants said social media was a contributing factor to conflict in their relationship. Why? Because even when we're physically with the people we love, we often are emotionally somewhere else. We're checking notifications, scrolling through reels, answering DMs. But picture this. You're out to dinner with your partner, but instead of talking, you're both staring at your phones. You're there, but you're not really there. I've been that person. At family gatherings, I found myself scrolling instead of participating, laughing at my phone instead of laughing with my cousins. And I felt it. The quiet disconnection, the feeling of being in the same room but miles apart. Dr. Larry Rosen, a psychologist who studies tech and relationships, warns, we may be physically near, but we are emotionally miles apart. The distance can slowly erode even the strongest relationships. So what do we do with all this? Let's quickly review. Social media has replaced genuine communication with shallow interactions. It encourages toxic comparison and damages our self-worth, and it causes emotional disconnection even from those we love most. Given these truths, I hope you see what I see. Social media is distorting our relationships. Now, I'm not here to say delete your apps forever, but I'm asking you to rethink the way you use it. Take a moment to disconnect. Look up from your screens. Have a deeper conversation. Be present with someone and really see them. Because in a world full of filters, likes, highlight reels, authentic connections is a revolutionary act. Let's reclaim it before it disappears. Thank you.
Woo!